Phineas and Ferb are one of the most popular characters in the Disney archive right now, and Disney, of course, would want to bring them to the parks. But a monstrosity awaits anyone who's going to see Dr. Doofenshmirtz over at Oogie Boogie Bash. Also, Agatha Harkness is there. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter with That Park Place, and here with me is a member of the Legion of Evil, Mr. Culture Casino. Culture, what evil plans do you have today?
I think I'm going to dominate the YouTube algorithm today.
That sounds great. But before you do that, let's talk about something that is over on Twitter. I reposted a video by someone else here. This is the Dr. Doofenshmirtz live action character that they're putting in Disney parks for the Oogie Boogie Bash. And I gotta say, this is not quite what I was expecting. Let's cue this up to the beginning here.
Hi, I'm Dr. Hans Doofenshmirtz, the greatest evil genius of all time. A platypus? Perry the platypus!
Okay, so let's start with the positives on this one. The set looks good.
Yeah.
They do have a Perry the Platypus joke in there. That looks neat. The boots, the shoes that he's got, those look like the ones from the show. Yeah, that right there. That's a well-formed boot. Let's see. Yeah, the hair from behind looks like Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Looks like he's got a little bit of a hunch there. Not sure I agree with that take. This effect right here, the laser smoke gun thing, that's pretty cool. Is there anything else positive that we can bring up here before we get into the obvious?
Was a lab coat.
He does have a lab coat.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. That is a chicken-faced man, and I don't associate this with Dr. Doofenshmirtz, despite the fact that they have hit many notes that are technically in the Dr. Doofenshmirtz concerto. This doesn't sound anything like Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Well, it doesn't look anything like Dr. Doofenshmirtz. It also doesn't sound like Dr. Doofenshmirtz. It does sound like someone trying to do a Dr. Doofenshmirtz impression. Would you pay money to see this at Oogie Boogie Bash, Culture?
No, but then again, I wouldn't actually go to Oogie Boogie Bash ever again because of this kind of thing that usually is offered up.
He's not the only one there, and we're going to talk about some of the other costumes.
Oof. Look, I mean, face characters are hard enough, right?
Oh,
but
yes,
you always want to kind of get in the same wheelhouse as the voice and the same overall look. And as I said, we went out of our way to tell you what looked aesthetically correct, but when he turns around, this absolutely is not the character we were expecting.
Yeah, I would say he's more funny than playfully menacing, especially in the later seasons of Phineas and Ferb. He's kind of hilarious. And Dan Povenmire, who does the voice of it, for those of you who don't know what this character sounds like, let's go over here to his tweet talking about Dr. Doofenshmirtz. This is Dan Povenmire, and he's wearing his looks to be Dr. Doofenshmirtz black t-shirt and lab coat.
Okay, I found that filter that makes you look like a Disney villain. And so I put on the lab coat, and let's see if I can make it work. Ready?
Oh my, it's even worse. Okay, so this is obviously facial prosthetic on top of, there's some makeup blending here. This looks to be his real lips on top of a some kind of synthetic mask, and then it's blended using makeup. So the blend is technically proficient on the part of the makeup team, but oh wow, that's just kind of terrifying.
Perry the platypus?
And it's not even a filter. He's really there. He's really here at Oogie Boogie Nights. We're going to take over the Tri-State area.
The video with Dan Povenmire is better than
It is.
Dan Povenmire is hilarious and does a great job, and he's closely associated with the people at the park, so he's going to say yes. I think he has friends in Imagineering, so you know, I don't want to assume anything based off of his thoughts on what this might be, because even if he thought they didn't do a good job, I don't think he would be insulting to the actor here, and I don't want to insult the actor. The actor took money for the role and did his best job. But I'm going to say he missed the mark on the character here. He's a little bit more playful. He's not so braggadocious, and he's ineffectually evil. Whereas this guy just looks goofy and like he is playing the character a little too sinister, just not quite the right note.
Yeah, look, I mean, beyond the characterization, and the performance, I still think that the voice is the thing that'll probably throw people off the most. The makeup effects, I think they probably did the best that they could. Because my thoughts are this, Jonas, that he doesn't look anything like the character in real life. So they really had to do a lot here to build this out. And mind you, this is something that this actor has to wear like all the time. This is going to be very uncomfortable for many days in a row. I don't know.
Yeah. He's supposed to have the sad divorcee energy of Dr. Doofenshmirtz. That's the whole thing. He's actually just a relatable single dad and a divorcee. That's the idea of Doofenshmirtz, as opposed to him being an actual villain. I'm going to say the Ice Show seemed to have done it a little bit better. Of course, Doofenshmirtz is not the only character here. There's Agatha Harkness.
Boy.
She's also been added here. This is from Disneyland News Today. There she is. She's wearing a high collar shirt there. I'm kind of surprised they didn't just go with the Agatha, like put the character in very white face and have her wearing that 1950s outfit. I actually think that would be
that would have been the right direction, right? I mean, because Catherine Hahn's, got a unique look, and had you moved it into the 50s and washed out the face and and the hands and all of that, whatever was exposed, I think you would have had a better chance of carrying it over.
I think so too. But instead we have, again, no disrespect to the actress here who's playing Catherine Hahn's character. There's also one more that has some technical achievements on it that are pretty cool. They have a Hades character that's walking around. This is different than the usual Hades walk around character that they have there at the parks. They have this guy on stage doing a passable James Woods here, and the hair can change color from blue to orange and then back again. So from a technical standpoint, it's there. You technically, I would give this a B-, I think.
I think, and again, it comes back to the idea, and I've said this forever, it's hard to be a face character. You have to have a striking resemblance to whoever you're playing. And then you have to be willing to take the steps to, get it to the point where everybody will take it as fact that you are actually that character. And it's hard. But this looks amazing compared to the other things we've seen. So
I would agree. This is of the three that we're looking at right now, this is absolutely the best one. And I would say that Oogie Boogie is probably the best of the
always.
Oogie Boogie is absolutely the best of any of the ones that you here's an example of what Hades looks like normally in the park here. Let me see if I can zoom this in here for all of you to understand what he looks like. Right there, that is a cartoony representation
right
here. So, that's kind of what we're used to. And now we go for this, and it removes a lot of the expression from the character. So whoever is doing this, obviously parts of the face are locked down here. The eyebrows don't move. It's a flatter representation of the character. It's not like Judge Doom, which I do think that Judge Doom is back again this year as well. They did a great job on Judge Doom, the character from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He would pick up a shoe and put it in dip and in all of that. Translating cartoons into live action, I think, seems to be the biggest problem here.
Yeah, and look, if the hair color change, I mean, those kinds of effects, those are things that really do help carry things over for people. But at least the structure here is consistent with what the character looks like when animated. So I think it's a little bit easier to accept than even the hard mask that we saw just a moment ago. So like you said, if you're looking at all three of these side by side, I think this is the one that's going to be the most representative of the character. And I
Yeah.
think they did it. Like I said, I know how much work all of this is, so I'm going to say they did a pretty good job here. So, and the only other one that I've ever seen and wouldn't possibly be here was the Doctor Strange that was at Disneyland as a face character for a while. Genuinely looked like Doctor Strange, but face characters are hard, and having them in a special event like this, probably even harder.
Right. And people should always be kind to face characters when they run into them at the park. They're putting in a lot of work, and it's very difficult to stay in character for extended periods of time when you're dealing with, well, we all know what Disney theme park guests can be like. But that being said, I want to throw this to commenters here. What do you think of the Hades mask, the Dr. Doofenshmirtz performance, and of course, Agatha there? Will you be watching any of the new content? By the way, for those of you who aren't aware, I was going to be making a joke about Agatha all along, or whatever they're going to call the Agatha series, but they are working on a new Phineas and Ferb series for any of you who might have tuned in here for that reason, because you're interested in that show. One of the best things that Disney has ever done. I love the themes of that show. Anyways, let us know your thoughts on all of that in the comment section down below. Like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Plays for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.